All right, welcome to another episode of Homestead Shop Talk podcast with Al from Lumnah Acres and Ben from Hollar Homestead and myself, Jason from Solar Land. This is episode 71, and I figured we better hit record, otherwise we're going to forget to hit record because we're just talking about just different stuff. But so I got a question for you guys. I'm trying to ask a question in the beginning, like, well, what do you guys have for dinner? But okay, if you could watch any movie, like say comedy, drama, action, whatever, I guess genre, like what's your favorite genre?
That's hard. I mean, I could tell you my all-time favorite movie, like hands down, is The Fifth Element. I'm kind of a Bruce Willis fan. Like, I like Bruce Willis movies. I don't know why. Like Die Hard, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
But like
It's
Fifth
like
Element,
action.
like we named our son Corbin that because of that movie. Like, that's how much I like that movie.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm not a big movie guy.
No movie guy, Al?
No.
Not even growing up or nothing?
Growing up, yeah, probably action growing up. But
Action?
right now
Yeah.
we want to see Reagan, but it's not playing in the theaters around here, unfortunately.
Yep. I would say I like a good comedy. I would say comedy, documentary.
Good romance.
Yeah, good romance now and then.
A little tearjerker. The Notebook.
Good rom-com.
Gosh.
Yeah, I like a good, like, dorky comedy,
I haven't seen
Will Ferrell.
a good comedy in a long time.
Yeah, probably not family approved, but, Although, Al, from your recommendation, we did see the new Twister.
What you think of it?
I think it was pretty good. Like, it was pretty family friendly. Like, it was just like a good, like, kind of action. There's some funny parts in there.
Yeah.
We just saw that this weekend, but it's actually pretty good.
They're still playing it? That's cool.
Yeah, we had it on. No, we got it on online.
Gotcha.
Rented it,
Nice.
so it's actually pretty good. It's funny that there's that. I know you mentioned it. There's a YouTuber following,
Yep.
like, storm chaser YouTuber. It was pretty funny because I was like, okay, I get it. I was like, how come you don't have a GoPro attached to your head? Like,
Right.
I was thinking that the whole time. All right, so for if anyone's new to the podcast, we pretty much just sit down once a week and talk about our week and talk about kind of behind the scenes of what we do on our YouTube channels and stuff that we maybe go into what we filmed and maybe some stuff that we don't film, but just to kind of, I don't know, just do something different and talk about some more things than what we do on our regular channel. So if anyone's new here, that's what we're doing. We're just getting together and talking shop. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
You want to go first, Al?
I'll go
You
first.
go first, Al. You went last time. Last
All
couple
right,
times,
I'll
I
go
think.
first.
So go for it.
So we started working on a fencing project. We're trying to fence in with a real fence the barnyard for like a corral area to get our cattle chute set up. So we're putting in 6x6s for posts, and then we're using 2x6s for the rails.
Wood fence.
Wood fence. Yep. I don't want the cattle to run through it. I want to be able to, if I got to chase them into the cattle chute, you know what I mean, to get them to load and stuff like that. I don't got to worry about them just busting through anything. But unfortunately, like you, we don't just get to like aug into our soil and have it all be clay. We got rocks and so
Yeah.
I'm having. I mean, I got the equipment, so it's fine, but it takes a lot more time. I got to dig the holes with the excavator because you're hitting good size, not boulders, but we're hitting decent sized rocks. So
So you're using an excavator and not an auger?
yep, we got the excavator, so we're having to dig these pretty big holes.
Define pretty good sized rocks. Like, how big? What are we talking here?
On average, we got probably, I'd say, decent size is like basketball size.
That's a big rock.
Softball.
Yeah. Softball's enough to stop my auger on my tractor.
Yeah.
Basketball, yeah, you're gonna be digging a massive hole, or just
Yep.
moving your post if you can.
What
Right.
about roots?
No roots.
Okay.
So the area we're doing, we had it all stumped, but there's just rocks everywhere. So it's like, yep. I have an auger for the excavator because we used that, or I tried using it when we put our solar panel in. We got some of the screw bits for like putting in pipes and stuff like that. So you like auger down and screw in the ground like 4 feet, and then you put your pipe into it for setting your solar array up on that. And I was able to use that for the majority of them, but I had to still get the excavator out and dig most of probably, I don't know, a third of them in. So I'm doing the fence, and I'm like, I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to dig.
Yeah. How big of an area are you fencing in?
So the barnyard right by the house, or right by the barn, I should say, it's two-sided. I'd say it's two-sided, and one of the sides like kind of like swoops in at an angle. So I'm trying to think. I think we got probably like 70 feet worth of fence on one side and probably like 80 feet worth of fence on the other. So
good amount. That's a lot to do in wood.
Yeah, it's been enough, but it's looking good.
Are you painting it?
I don't know what we're going to do. So it's pressure treated. It's wet right now. So we won't do anything this year, but next year I'm trying to figure out if we stain it or anything. I think we'll wait to see. But.
So no cattle panels, anything like that on there?
No, we did 4 rails. So we're going like 6 inches off the ground, and then like every 6 inches we're putting a rail. So I think the top rail's at 42 inches.
Okay.
So we didn't do chicken wire. We didn't do like what you did for your wire fence. We didn't do any wire fence behind it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it should be good enough for keeping out calves and stuff like that. I'm sure a goat could get through it, or a chicken, but.
Right. You're putting a gates too?
Yeah, the gates are already there.
Oh, okay.
We had solid metal gates there. Where we did the gates, I put in 6x6s at the time. And then it has an electric fence around it out of T-posts, but I was like, that's not gonna work if we want to have our cattle shoot in that area.
Yeah.
So I got half of the project done, and then Gina and Olivia went to Florida for the week.
Okay.
Western A Price was having their conference down in Orlando.
Oh, that's right.
All right.
Yeah. So
you didn't go?
I didn't go. No, they found out about it. They wanted to go check it out. Olivia's all into like the natural health stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out if that's something she wants to do after high school.
Oh, nice.
Kind of thing. So, but yes, they went down. It took them about a day to fly down, and they were there for the conference, and they flew home. They're back now. So it was 5 days without them. I got to do all the chores, all the milking.
Okay, so did you you had to make dinner? You had to make all the dinners too, and for yourself, right?
So Gina made beef stew ahead of time, and then she made a bunch of meatballs. So I had a lot of meatballs and beef stew.
Yeah, meatball it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. Like, that doesn't bother me, eating the same meal over and over again.
It's kind of me. Like sometimes Lorraine will leave for the weekend at her parents, and I'm like, because she makes all the meals, which is great.
Yep.
Like, so when she's gone, you really notice it because it's like, oh wait, I got to stop what I'm doing,
Right?
and go
prepare food.
Go prepare food. That's gonna be like an hour. So like by the time I get to it, it's like probably like 7, 8 o'clock. I'm like, oh, forget it. I'm just gonna make an egg.
Just gonna
hey man, it's all about that Instant Pot. If you got to feed yourself and you don't want to take the time to stop, go get a whole chicken, throw it in with some potatoes, a handful of salt and pepper, and push go.
Yeah,
Instant Pot is a bachelor's best friend.
Right.
That's funny.
So usually in the morning when we're doing chores, I'll take care of all the outside chores, feeding the animals and stuff, and then Gina does the milking. So I'm like, oh man, I gotta do, which I was fine with. I'm like, I haven't milked in a long time.
Okay. So she does the milking.
She does the milking, and I do usually all the other stuff outside. Yeah. So it made morning chores a little bit longer. I survived.
That's good. I'm glad you survived, Al.
The animals all survive?
Yeah, the animals all survived. Yep. They're all alive, kicking. I think it was like 80s in Florida while they were gone. And then when they got back, I think it was upper 40s when they got back here. And then this morning when we woke up, it was like 21. And we had Dusting of snow on the ground.
Wow. Okay.
I was like, yep, welcome back.
Yes. Back to reality.
Back to reality. It was warm though. Here we were upper 70s for the first half of the week, and then it started to get cool, like 50s and 60s, and then Sunday was upper 40s and windy, and then snow.
Winter is here.
What's that?
Winter is here.
Yep. You guys getting the colder weather?
Not really.
No.
I mean it's a little bit not miserable.
Yeah, it's actually really nice.
We were having your weather at like last week, the beginning of it. That's what we've been having for a while. I was like, yeah, this is nice.
It was like 80 this last weekend. This last weekend was 80.
Was it?
Yeah, like Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
Wow. Saturday, I think we were in the 50s. This one we had like, it wasn't like, so we have our hydrants outside, so the water works, but we got rain last night, and then it changed over to like slushy snow, and then it froze. So all the hydrants, like the handles were frozen, so you couldn't operate them. I was like, oh, yeah, I gotta get used to this stuff now. The frozen.
So you got to put in, are you done with the posts then?
The posts are all done, yes.
Okay.
Yep. So I finished that project while they were gone, so I got that all finished up.
Okay.
Now we got to do some concrete work.
How many posts were that?
I think I ordered 20. And I think I used 15 of them.
A lot of holes to dig.
Yeah, it was enough. One of the sides, I wanted to do some grading while I was doing it, so I dug like one hole, buried the post, and then graded as I went. And so I was like one post at a time. The next side, I was already graded nice. So I was able to dig all of the posts holes at once and then go and put all the posts in at the same time. So that went a lot faster. Now you were talking about doing a rail fence at one point, Jason. Are you gonna go back in that area and do that, or?
I don't know. I mean, I guess you kind of get used to a certain thing, and you're like, it doesn't need it. You know?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe one day, maybe some other part. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just one of those things where if I get bored one day or something.
Do you have more fencing planned for this winter?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a part that I need to do. I need to fence in the barn because if we butcher an animal and bring an animal in, you know, like it'll kind of contain them.
Yep.
So yeah, there's more fencing.
There's more fencing.
Getting cold. Time to do fencing.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what were we, like 60s, 70s when we were doing the majority of the fencing. I think one day it was 80s. And I was like, 60s and 70s, that was like perfect weather for fencing. And then the 80-degree day, I'm like, yeah, I'm not liking this.
No.
But I wasn't gonna complain because it's winter for us, and we were getting those temps. So
yeah.
Yeah, so I did a lot of fencing this week, but I was able to get it done.
Are you drawing that out of like a month-long fencing videos, or is that just one video?
No, I think we'll have 3 fencing videos.
All right, that's good.
I think that's what it's going to figure out, is 3 fencing videos. Then we'll be done. And then I had to build the road. So we have our barnyard, and then down to the right it goes to I call it the lower pasture. That little roadway, alleyway, whatever you want to call it, that washed out during our big rainstorm, and I haven't fixed it. So that I finally rebuilt. I actually made it wider. When you went in, you had to do like a sharp 90-degree corner to go down. Mm-hmm. So I made it wider so you can go instead of going 90, you can go like 45 or 90 and kind of get the tractor in there and not have to worry about it too much. So one of those things I wanted to do, but it's like, this isn't a fun job and it doesn't need to get done yet. So I've been like putting it on the back burner, and then I'm like, winter's going to be here. The ground's going to be frozen. We got to get this project done.
Yeah.
One of those things, it's like up here, you kind of get your feet put to the fire this time of the year if you have projects you want to finish up. Because it's like, I know, like, clock is ticking, and as soon as that frost gets in the ground or the snow gets it covered, like, there's some stuff we just can't do.
Yeah, I think what's weird is, like, I've, had the ground freeze here a couple days out of the year, but, it's gone in, a couple days. I guess I just don't have that concept in my head, even still. just the idea of having it frozen for who knows how long, it's like, man, that does really cut down on what you do outside.
I know.
My inconvenience is I have to make sure all the hoses are unplugged
Right.
so they don't freeze.
And if they do freeze, by afternoon, they'll be unfrozen.
Yeah.
For you guys, yeah. I know watching you guys work in the wintertime, I'm like, you can get so many outside projects done, like fencing or clearing brush. It's like, that's like the perfect time. Like for us, like if you don't get to it, you have like a month and then you're going to get snow. So you're not going to want to be out there cutting brush or trimming fence line. That's like, yeah, you guys have like,
yeah, no
that way. There's a lot more convenient time for doing that, I guess.
Yeah.
One of the downsides is if you aren't careful, you never get any downtime. There is no like winter downtime to speak of unless you plan for it and take it.
That's true.
You have to force yourself to do it.
Yeah. Just keep going.
Just keep going.
Eventually you just pass out.
It's gonna be time to stop breeding the pigs soon. What part of November do you guys usually stop breeding?
I think we usually wait till mid-November.
Mid-November.
But I might put them in. I might be putting them in the next couple of weeks, I think.
Yep. Because as of recording, yeah. So when this podcast goes out, it'll be November 1st.
Oh, wow. That's quick.
Yep. That's why I'm like, okay, we got to get our boar in with the lady we're keeping farming. It's like, okay, do I want to do it at the beginning of November, the middle of November, or I'm trying to figure out that timing?
Yeah, but you got a barn for them, so right? Like they could be warm in there when they have the babies.
Yeah,
I think that's the main
won't put her
thing.
in the barn until she's getting close to being due. Keep her in an outside barn.
I don't think you would have a problem.
Yeah, the only reason why I want to have her in the barn for when she's having the piglets is the ground can be pretty damp and cold. It's just like that time of the year is just can be raw and nasty. So I'm like, I don't want to lose any piglets to that.
Yeah. Right.
I'm probably going to be having piglets in January. I think I let the mamas stay with Mo too long after I pulled the babies. And I'm pretty sure they're both pregnant right now. It's like, man, like looking at the timing, it's going to be like right at the middle of our coldest weather.
Yep.
Wow. They'd be ready to go like in August.
It's just frustrating. It's bad on my part because I just, didn't make a priority. And now it's like, well, I don't really have a place in the barn for them, so I can't move them down to the barn to Faro. So a lot of people around here will just take out a big round hay bale and drop it out there for them, and they can tunnel into it. I'm probably going to be doing something like that up in the woods.
Yep.
Yeah. You could put them in, well, if they're in the woods, it'd be hard, but you could try to use your chicken tractor to put them in.
It's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all.
Because we usually give our pigs a chicken tractor and put hay in there when it gets really cold. I mean, I don't know if they would destroy it, your pigs. My pigs won't, but...
I don't know, they might.
If you keep moving it, then they might be fine. But yeah, if you leave them in there, they might eventually destroy it.
They would eat the tarp.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. Yep.
Pigs will do that.
Yeah.
I tried that one winter.
Yeah.
And they like blue tarps.
They like the tarps.
Yep.
Turkeys like tarps too.
Do they?
Yeah, they destroyed my tarp.
They literally ate themselves out of house and home.
Yep. I was like, what are you guys doing? Like, this is your shade?
Right. Only if they could think. Right. So we bred our cow AI. I'm trying to think when we had her AI. It was in May. So, and then we put her in 2 months later with our bull because I did a pregnancy test and it came back negative. Well, I did 4 pregnancy tests. They all came back negative. She's never really gone back into heat since then. She's gone into like a mild heat, I will call it, once or twice after we AI'd her. And she hasn't gone back into heat since, but she's starting to show. So I'm thinking she might have got pregnant from AI, because if she's starting to show, she's 4 months to 5 months pregnant from AI, where if she was with the bull, she'd only be like 2 or 3 months pregnant. And they say it takes like 4 months to show on a cow. So I'm like, okay, I got to figure out when she got pregnant now, or if she is pregnant. I did some research. There are some cows that the pregnancy tests don't work on. So I'm like,
That'd be about right.
Right. But her right side, is that whatever side it is? I think it's your right side, the right side that they're pregnant on, right?
Left is lunch, right is romance.
Okay, so the right side, she's bigger and lower, and she wasn't always like that. So I'm like, I think she's pregnant.
That's awesome. After dealing with a cow that we could not get bred, I'm like, yeah, like, right. I'm happy for you guys. That's kind of a relief.
It is, but the only thing right now, we got to figure out when she got pregnant, because we got to stop milking her at some point.
Yep. Figure out when to dry her off.
Right. So I'm debating whether or not to call the vet and see if they'll come out and palpate and calf check.
I was going to ask, are you guys planning on eating the steer? Was it a steer?
The one that is our
azaleas. Yeah,
azaleas. We do. I'm just waiting right now. We'll wait, I think, until she is until she calves or right before she calves, because they go out together. So it's her companion right now. So I figure I'll keep him around until she's gonna calf. What I was thinking.
It does. Is he still nursing? Because that's
no, he was. So that's kind of a bummer. I don't know. So that was another thing. Shortly after we got her AI'd, she weaned him from nursing. He was nursing up until May.
Man, ours never weaned the steer. Like, she never weaned him. The day we sold her was the day he got weaned. I was just like, man, like, he's almost 2 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah, he was 15 months old, I think. But I'm thinking, that was another thing. I'm like, well, if she was pregnant, I could see her weaning her calf. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Like, her temperament changed shortly after. So
maybe she is.
That's kind of been a bummer, because we were calf sharing. So we only had to, if we didn't want to milk, like, say during like chicken butchering, we wouldn't milk that morning. We just keep the calf on her overnight. So this year we weren't able to do that. So it's like, man, I like calf sharing. It's so much easier.
Yeah, it is. It is so convenient.
So that's what we're thinking. I'm thinking she's pregnant from AI, which should be good if she's pregnant from AI, because we spent a decent amount of money doing the AI. So, and if she's pregnant from AI, it should be a female. So that'd be another bonus. And that would be an A2 Jersey. And if she's pregnant from... Yeah. And it's good genetics over there. We got the semen from Reverend's Farm down in North Carolina. If not, then I guess we got a 50-50 chance of having a steer or a girl from and which would be cool, because that'd be a half Jersey and half Highland cattle. So that's going to be a kind of a neat combination to see. So either one won't hurt my feelings. I guess that's been my week and what I've been pondering.
What's Al been pondering? It's a YouTube title.
What's Al been pondering? You don't want to know.
So I had my I finally, all these years I've been doing Instagram posts and, like, reels and all that. I finally got one video that got a viral. I would say it's viral. One of them viral videos, because in like less than a week it got to 1 million views. Wow. And then it's only been a little over a week and it's got 2.5 million.
Wow.
And they're getting a video like that is like scary and cool, kind of cool at the same time. Because you're like, okay, that many people, and then people just start following you that wouldn't typically follow you, just because you have that, like a viewed video like that. So it was like it was like a less than a minute clip of me talking about my pigs pooping a garden for me. And you never know what's going to be like even with YouTube videos, you know, like you never really know what's going to be a lot of views or not. But it's, literally me just talking about that. Oh, my pigs pooped me a garden, you know, and I kind of talk about that. And for whatever reason, people like really like that. And then like,
was it like a comedy one?
Kind of. I mean, yeah, kind of being funny about it, you know, and just showing little clips of, you know, cucumber growing in the pasture and stuff like that. Yeah, it was kind of funny. So then whatever, you know, these type of videos, they always attract vegans too, you know?
Yep.
And so it's just kind of funny because it's scary in a sense. Like you got a bunch of people like following you because they really like the video, but then when they really look at what we do, then it's like, oh, I love the video, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, a bunch of people like it and like what you're doing, and they see what you're really about, and they're like, oh, you suck, you know? Yeah, like I love what you're doing, and then my next post is like,
how dare you?
Yeah, the next post is me butchering a pig. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of funny. Like, it's just 1 minute you're like, yeah, we love what you're doing. The next post, it's like, I hate you, you know, death threats, unfollow. It's just it's such a weird thing to be a part of.
That's the internet.
Yeah, it's just it's wild. That's what we all do for a living.
Right.
And you really can't take it seriously. Like, you can't take it to heart, you know? It's just kind of funny, but... So that was this week on my Instagram. I got a lot of followers, though.
Did you gain a bunch of followers out of it?
Yeah, I got quite a bit. And let's see if they stick around, you know?
Did
any of them translate over to YouTube?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, I think. I don't know. I didn't like notice a huge jump on YouTube, but it's kind of hard to... I would bet not.
Yeah.
I would bet, which is wild too to me, because some people just like are into Instagram, some people are just into Facebook, some people are just into YouTube. They're like they don't mesh. Like they don't. No, some of them do,
usually.
But like, yeah, which is wild. But that's just the way it is.
Did you post the same reel on Facebook?
No, I did not.
I didn't know. If you did, I was just kind of curious if it did good over there too, or if it was just Instagram.
I did post the same reel on YouTube like 2 weeks before. And I think that one only got 20,000 views, which is still a lot, but
right.
It's not like 2 million.
Right.
But yeah, just kind of funny to see which one does better on which platform. I don't know why. But they always track those vegans, man.
Only if they knew what you were up to this weekend.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, the next post is me butchering these pigs.
Yeah.
You think those pigs are cute? You gotta... I wish you could taste them.
I know. It's so funny. So, yeah, so we did our first pig processing workshop this weekend, and it went really well. You know, it's always nerve-wracking doing these workshops because, you know, you want it to go smoothly. And that pig went down smooth, no issues there. And yeah, overall it went well. The people were cool. I would say majority of them were from around North Carolina. There was maybe one or two from South Carolina, and there was one guy that drove from Florida. So he was probably the furthest out. But overall, everyone was super nice, and And everyone's always so nice at these workshops, and they really want to be involved. Like they're asking the questions. They're in the moment. They're want to get their hands dirty, which is cool. That's why we do them, and just really into it, which makes it a lot easier to do these classes when they're like that, and they're just super helpful. So yeah, we did it with Billy at Permanent Pastures Farm. He's such a good teacher, man. Like he's such a good talker too. Like he talked the piecing out part, and then I did like maybe the first part of like, putting the pig down and scalding and scraping. But yeah, he's such a good teacher. We overall it was great. No issues. Now, the pig, it was one of our bigger, out of the 4 Cooney pigs, it was the bigger one. And when we hung it initially, this is before we gutted it and everything, it was 175. And then after we gutted it, or I think the head alone weighed like 40 pounds.
That's a big head.
Yeah. And so after we packaged everything up and we weighed everything, after everything's packaged, everything that we're keeping, all the meat, it was 100 pounds. That includes the fat. And I didn't weigh the fat separately, but I bet you half of that was probably fat.
Oh, really? That much?
It was a lot. Yeah. But let me tell you, we had some that night. We tried some, and it tastes like beef. Like it was really good. I mean, like we tried the tenderloin first, and then of course it's like, okay, tenderloin. Let's try a pork chop. We tried a pork chop, and it was just as tender. We cooked it the same way. But yeah, it was not as much meat as a regular pig for sure. It was a smaller pig. A ton of lard. So I don't know. I'm still waiting to get my other pig back from the processor to see what that looks like. But I don't know. I mean, it tasted great. I'm just kind of now on the fence of like, is it really worth it with all that lard and how small the pig is, because it was like 20 months.
Yep.
It was almost 2 years. I was like, I'm not sure.
50 pounds of meat, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, what kind of fat? Like, did you get a lot of lard fat?
Like back fat?
Or a lot of back fat?
Leaf lard. There was quite a bit. Yeah, there's quite a bit of everything. So
they have a lot more leaf lard too. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of curious of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Overall.
Will you do a prosciutto from her?
I think we're going to try that on the next one. We didn't do that on these. But it's still pretty small. It's still going to be small. I mean, the pork chops are small. Everything's small about this pig. Very little grind. I think we only had maybe 5 packages of grind.
Oh, gosh.
Like 5 1-pound packages.
5 pounds of grind. Well, I mean,
yeah,
that's about what it's like doing if I do a 200-pound guinea hog, half of it's fat. The meat is delicious, but you don't get very much of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm probably gonna need like all 4 of these pigs to like feed us the whole year.
Yep.
Was it worth it? I don't know. Is the flavor to that worth it? Where you could just say, yeah, let's do that? I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see what this processor pig looks like. But
and then if you're paying to get one of those pigs processed,
mm-hmm.
it's still pretty expensive versus a regular pig because you're still having to pay all your slaughter fees, which is per pig and not on the size.
Right.
So it's going to come out to more money per pound once you figure it all out to have it processed, I would think, versus the regular size pig.
Yep. Yep. Or you just do alternate. I don't know.
Feeder pigs 1 year, coonies the next.
Yeah, maybe.
Or you go to the Idaho pasture pigs. I mean, I'll let you know when I butcher ours, but
yeah,
we'll find out. Our boar is probably a third to a half bigger than the females we have.
So yeah, so we did that, and it was a good experience overall. We're doing another workshop in 3 weeks. Our last one. I think but there was a few people there that were raising coonies, and that's why they wanted to take the workshop, because they knew we were doing coonies. So, that worked out. And honestly, if you're just a small family, or you are butchering an animal yourself, I mean, maybe a smaller cooney pig is what you want to do. It kind of depends how much meat you need, or
right,
what you're comfortable with.
How did the butchering go? Was it nice having it a smaller size animal?
It went quicker. Everything went quicker, which was nice. I mean, maybe not the scalding part. Even for a workshop, workshop takes a little bit longer because you're explaining stuff. But I would say the scalding took about the same as a bigger pig. But the piecing out compared to last year, because last year was a bigger pig workshop, I think we were almost 2 hours quicker on the second day. So in that sense, it's a little bit quicker. But
now that you've done a suckling pig cooney versus a almost 2-year-old one, was there any difference on how they scraped? Did the hair come out easy?
I think the suckling one was a lot easier.
Yeah. How about this one? Was this one hard to scrape, or?
I would say it was harder than the feeder pig that we did last year. There was a lot more hair for sure. Because these are the dark, it was black hair, but it was really long and thick. It still was about the same, but it did feel a little bit tougher.
Are you able to fit it into the 55-gallon bucket with only having to go one direction, or do you have to flip it over still?
We tried it. We tried to do only one dunk, but no, we had to flip it over still.
Yeah, still had to flip it over.
Yeah, it was about the same length, I guess. But yeah, it was cool. So I had somebody pick up a turkey. Some guy emailed me and was like, "Hey, I want to buy a turkey from you." He was like, "But I don't want to buy it online. Can I pay cash for it? Can I just come to your place?" So I was like, "Okay." First time somebody asking this, and so he came, and I assume that people, maybe they watch our YouTube channel. That's how they know about us. So he walks out, him and his wife, I guess, and he's like, he wants to buy a turkey, is the guy who emailed me. And then, we're just talking. I was just having to ask him. I was like, so, how'd you hear about us? Because right away you could kind of tell, right away people say, "Oh my gosh, I watch your YouTube channel." They're all saying how they watch us and stuff. And this guy didn't say any of that stuff. So he said, "Oh, I found a website online." He's like, "I was searching online for organic chicken farm in North Carolina, and you were on a list." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Oh, that's surprising," because I didn't know about this list. Because I guess there's a website that just lists all these farms, and he's like, "You were closest to me, so I just," and it had your website on it. So that's I was cool. Like, "Oh, I thought that was pretty cool."
That's pretty cool.
Otherwise he would never. He didn't seem the type that I didn't even bring up YouTube or nothing. I just was talking to him, and he didn't bring it up, so I don't know. I don't know if he watches YouTube or not, but so I sold him a turkey. But yeah, it was kind of neat.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's what we want, to reach other people. And he was local, so it wasn't. He was more local, so it was better, I think, because that's what we kind of want. And he seemed to really care of that. He wanted organic. He was specifically looking for an organic fed turkey, so which was nice. So what else?
Are you almost sold out on the turkeys?
We have 2 more.
Wow, cool.
Man, those went quick.
Yeah, 2 more. Well, we might only have 1 because I think Lorraine wanted to keep 2. I was like, well, we might sell it or keep it. I don't know. Yeah.
Whatever comes first.
Yeah. Oh, actually, we're doing we're going to be at an event here so this podcast is coming out on Friday, so there's still time on this Sunday. If everyone goes to colfaxcreekfarm.com, there's a farm out here that they're doing a benefit, like a kind of fundraiser for Hurricane Helene for folks who've been affected by it. And it's a pasture-based farm, and they're doing a silent auction. And so I was like, well, we're going to silent auction off one of our 24-pound turkeys.
Oh.
So it'll be curious to see how much it goes for. So that's this Sunday. We're going to be there hanging out, and I think they're going to have like live music. They're going to be cooking, I think, hamburgers from the farm and mechanical bull and just like activities. So if anyone's in the area, just go to colfaxcreekfarm.com and all the info's on there. So
I thought you were going to say they were going to auction off a date night with you.
Yeah. Maybe with Zeke. When a date with Zeke, you get to kiss Zeke. He's gonna run the kissing booth. Yeah, so that should be fun. Yeah, I thought that'd be fun because we have a 24-pound turkey. But
so they doing food and stuff at the event?
Yep, they're doing food and just little activities. I think they have some vendors there or something. But I think he said they're gonna have like 2 bands play
all day Sunday.
Yep, all day Sunday. So it should be fun. But yeah, other than that, what about you, Ben? What's going on?
Since that hurricane, it has been it feels like nonstop. There's been stuff going on nearly every day, just outside of our normal schedule. It's been crazy. All right, so I guess I'll use this as kind of an opportunity to talk about. The place we get our groceries is called Azure Standard. It's a outfit out of, I think, Oregon is where they're out of, and they are basically it's like a online organic food supplier. They have a very strict standard with which they sell foodstuffs through. If it's got chemicals in it, if it's got this, that, and the other thing, they won't sell it. They won't carry it. So we've been Azure Standard customers for, I don't know, a decade. It's been a long time. Like there was a drop we went to in California, and then coming out here, various drops we've went to. Well, now Meg is actually the drop coordinator for our drop. And because of that, we kind of see a little more of the inner workings of how Azure Standard works. I mean, within reason. Well, when all this hurricane stuff happened, Azure Standard basically said, hey, like if anybody needs, groceries for, supplying people, let us know. And so this past, I think the drop ended up being on a Monday. So it was last Monday. Meg basically made a huge shopping list of everything she thought anybody could use, foodstuffs, as ready to eat as you can get. A lot of rice and beans, a lot of chicken broth. You name it, jerky sticks, stuff like that, stuff that is non-perishable, stuff that can serve people better than, Hot Pockets. So our drop came and we had to bring both vehicles because the order for all of this hurricane relief stuff was so big, and it's all stuff that Azure donated. So we brought all that home, and then the next day we took it up to the person who is distributing for us and handed it off to them, and they got it to everybody who's up in the mountains, people who are affected. I know of one family, they eat very similar to us. They only eat organic food. They stay away from all processed food, stuff like that. And, you know, they basically got completely cut off on their mountain they were on, and they have been unable to get groceries unless they're hiked in. And so they were running out of food, and they can get supplies, yes, but it's just whatever. So, you know, I realize at some point you have to eat food no matter what you've got, rather than, you know, I can only eat organic. I don't have any organic food, so I guess we're starving. You know, eventually that has to stop. But, you know, we were able to get organic food into their hands, which is kind of cool. So as far as I know, all of the supplies have been distributed, which is awesome. Really cool of Azure Standard to do that. I think they're doing it again next month. But yeah, really cool company to work with. Really cool place to get groceries, because that's where we get all of our bulk organic flour, rice, beans, you name it, you know, all of that stuff. You can get stuff in bulk. You can also get like normal sized things too. Like if you want a a box of I don't know, jerky sticks or something like that, you can get just like you'd get at the store, kind of thing. All right. That was Monday. Tuesday, we went up to help our friends, the Rhodes. Justin Rhodes, I don't know if anybody has seen what's been going on up at his place, but they had some serious flood damage. Their creek went from about 10 feet wide to about 80 feet wide. It is a canyon now, and it severely undercut their pole barn they keep their animals in. So we went up there, and he just needs help. And so kind of went up there. He showed me what was going on, what the plan was. He was working with his father-in-law, Bruce, who used to be a contractor, and they just need to shore up the two beams. You know, these are the poles for the barn, the roof supports. They need these things shored up, and they just want to pour concrete and get these things supported. Personally, I don't know if I would even worry about rebuilding the barn where it's at, being so close to the creek. That's just me. But they need the barn because they're heading into winter. This is where they keep all of their animals during the winter. They had a greenhouse that they could keep their breeding pair of pigs in. That greenhouse got washed away in this flood. So they kind of have all of their pigs and everything just kind of crammed into one area. And then I believe they put their cows in this area too, if I'm not mistaken. So they kind of need this barn. It's what keeps all of their hay. Like, they can't lose it, you know, especially this time of year headed into winter. So I helped them build some forms that was Tuesday. And then the next time I could get down and help them pour the concrete was on Friday. So I guess I'll just jump ahead. There on Wednesday and Thursday, it was clearing more neighbor trees. I feel like I've talked about that every week for the past month. It's all about any free time I've got, clearing trees. Got the equipment, got some boys who are quite skilled with chainsaws, so we'll travel. So Friday, we went back up to the roads and we poured concrete. And because it's down in the creek, sort of, or, you know, about 6-7 feet down below their barn, we had to haul bagged concrete down. I brought my mixer up there. We were able to get the mixer down there, and we mixed, 2 bags at a time, and we poured these forms. I think we ended up pouring, I don't know, it was 3 yards of concrete, something like that. It's quite a job, quite a lot to do, but my boys and his boys, it was actually a really fun work day. I I think by the end of the day, his boys were understanding what kind of hard work doing concrete is. And they're like, I don't know if I ever want to do concrete again. It was like, yep.
Sounds about right.
Kind of explained a little bit. I was like, usually concrete doesn't suck this bad, tripping over boulders and broken concrete and sticks and roots and things. That really made it challenging, but we got it done. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Very long day. I will say that it was a very long day, very slow
workout.
There's one mixer for all that concrete, and it's just slow going. I thought about
you got it.
Seeing if we
got it done then.
Yeah, we got it done. We got it poured. I finished building the forms that morning when we got there, and we got everything built. It's basically a great big footer with a stem and some strapping that is going to, secure the post. And then they're going to come back in, and all of that's going to get buried. They're going to build buttresses out of concrete or boulders or something like that to keep the creek, over there where the creek's supposed to be. But it's a lot of work. I think what's hard is realizing how much soil is just gone. It was kind of cool. I wish I'd taken a picture. Down below the barn, you can see where the fill dirt was that they brought in to kind of level a pad for the barn. And then below that, there's like a black layer that looks like really, really rich soil. And then below that, it's like, native soil. And then, there's a couple other layers. And then you get down to the same river rock that we're standing on. So at one point, there was river rock probably in that whole valley where their house was built, or at least, down there next to the creek. But it kind of surprised me there was that much dirt built up. And then I asked him, hey, why is there a layer of black? And Justin said, oh yeah, 30 years ago, my dad had a garden out here. I thought it was kind of cool. You could see the striation lines of where the garden was. That was kind of cool. Okay. And then we actually went and did normal things this weekend. We haven't done anything normal in a month, and it felt really, really nice. It was very special. So once a year, there's this place called Hart Square, about an hour from here. It's in Vail, North Carolina. And it's kind of like a pioneer village. Basically this guy, I think his name's Dr. Hart, started collecting buildings. And I'm talking old buildings. These are from the turn of the century. I mean, I think I saw a couple buildings in there that are from the 1780s, something like that. Very old log cabins, very old, you name it. Any kind of design building, there's fancy buildings, there's not so fancy buildings. And it's a whole village, acres and acres of old buildings that he'll find someone who wants to get rid of this old farmhouse that's been on their family's land forever, and he'll go buy it from them. And then he, numbers every single board, stone, piece of timber, I think all the way down to the nails. And then they dismantle it, load it on a truck, and they move it to this spot. Well, once a year, I believe it's once a year. They might have a few more that they'll do. I think I heard someone say something they're doing a Christmas event this year. But they have a whole bunch of people who dress up in period correct clothing, and they do demonstrations at this place. So there was a pioneer village in Bakersfield back when we were living there, and it was pioneer homes that they'd moved to that spot, old log cabins and stuff. And you would walk in, and you couldn't walk any farther than the front porch, and there'd be plexiglass up, and it's just cold and lifeless. Not this place. Hart Square, they have fires in the fireplaces, and there's someone standing there cooking food. The smokehouses, there's someone standing there with a fire going in the smokehouse. It's crazy. It feels so alive at this event. It's just we went last year for the first time, and it just blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, like I almost feel, aside from the people walking around filming everything with their phones or taking pictures, it feels legit. So yeah, we went and did that Saturday. We had a really fun time. It was really, really nice. It was a little warm. I think it got up to 80 degrees. But as the day was winding down, we're watching some thunderheads start building. I was like, you know what? We're about done. Let's head to the car. Let's get out of here. And I think we were in the car 5 minutes, and it started dumping on us. And so we drove the whole hour home in raining cats and dogs rain. We haven't had a drop of rain since that hurricane came through. So even though, there's a tiny, tiny bit of PTSD about the wind and the rain, it was nice to have some rain. I do love rain, and we desperately need some rain, because a month without rain around here starts looking like you're going to see tumbleweeds blowing by.
Plus, it cooled everything off too.
Oh man, it went from 80 degrees down. I think the truck said it was 62. It's like, wow. Man, it cooled off with a quickness.
Yeah, that rain started like right after everyone left our workshop. So
that's perfect.
Just in time.
Yeah, just in time. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. We got home, and there's a couple big pine trees in our 1 acre plot that's next to us that we bought. And they had both fallen the same way, and they were hung up, and like there's no pulling them back over. So I thought, we get home, and one of them had actually stood back up and started going the other direction, and now it's kind of hanging out towards the barn rather than away from the barn. It's far enough back, there's like nothing to worry about it hitting anything, but getting home, it's like, that used to be leaning the other direction. So that means we had some high winds, and it pushed that tree. Now that the root ball is compromised, it's pretty much just going to swing wherever the wind blows it. So yeah, that was something I worked on today. I took that tree out of there. Still have plenty more to do in that 1 acres. It looks like Godzilla stomped around in there, but yeah, that's how it looks everywhere else too. So
you're getting good at these trees. Tree service work.
Hey, maybe I'll do that too. Tree service, septic, and notary.
And notary.
Yeah.
How's your wood chip pile coming?
Concrete. What's that?
The wood chip pile has grown substantially. I have also got queued up wood chips. Those are branches piled up waiting to be chipped. Probably what's going to end up happening is I'm just going to pay the boys to wood chip. That way it frees me up to do other things. It takes a long time to stand there and feed a wood chipper. Like it's fast, it's pretty efficient, but it'll eat up an afternoon. That was what I did.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Sunday afternoon for a couple hours. I went and I milled up a log that I had been wanting to mill, and then while I was down there, the boys asked if they could, come do stuff. And so they brought the tractor down and they wood chipped while I was milling this board. Speaking of milling, I bought a new chainsaw. I've actually bought 2 new chainsaws since all this went down, but I bought a chainsaw that I've wondered about for several years. So there's this Chinese company that takes, I don't know, it's like expired patents of steel chainsaws and rips them off, changes the color, and reproduces them. So I bought this. The brand is called Holtz Forma. They're blue, and the one I got in particular is a ripoff of a Steel MS 660. Yeah, this chainsaw is freaking amazing. I have never had a chainsaw so powerful. It feels like a steel, but like the plastic's a little bit cheaper, kind of Chinese. I've never used a chainsaw so powerful in my life. Like the first tree I went and there was a hung up tree in the woods, and I kind of looked at it. It's like, okay, this is going to be an easy one to take down. This thing zips through this tree so fast, you would have thought it was only like 6 inches. And this was like a 14 or 15 inch pine tree. I mean, it is just It's crazy. So at this point, I think I've put probably like 6 tanks of gas through it, running it, and it is amazing. Milling lumber with it. A lot of stuff I've seen online is a lot of people will buy these Chinese chainsaws because they're $300. You can find them cheaper if you don't buy a bar and chain with them. You can get just the power head. But people will buy them and basically make a chainsaw mill setup just with that saw. That's a dedicated saw for that. I think the one I've got, I think I can get a 4-foot bar for it. Not that I would need a 4-foot bar, but it's a pretty powerful saw compared to my steel 251 that I've had for the past 4 years. So yeah, that's my week in a nutshell. It's been a busy week.
That's awesome, man. I know. And plus you got workshops coming up too, right?
Yep. Yeah. The 8th, I believe, that weekend. We're about a week away. Yep. It's the weekend after Election Day, so we'll see.
Everybody better get out and vote too. Voting day will be what? 2 days after, 4 days after the podcast goes out.
Yep. Basically a week from tomorrow as we're recording this.
Yep.
Al, what kind of chainsaw you got?
I have Husqvarna's. I'm trying to think. My new one, is it a steel? I think they're all Husqvarna's. Don't ask me what number. I couldn't tell you. I got a big one last year. The local shop was going out of business. I don't remember if it was a 575 or something like that. And yeah,
that's like a big saw.
It's a professional grade one. And yeah,
the professional grade saws are totally different from the consumer grade saws.
Yep. I bought one years ago at Tractor Supply. I'd never do that again. The first one I had was a professional grade one, but it was on the smaller side, probably like your 251 size, but a Husqvarna. And I had it forever. I'm like, okay, I need to upgrade it. It's nice to have 2 saws when you're cutting a tree down, so if you get one pinched. So I'm like, all right, my other one's getting fairly old. I'll get a backup. Or I'll get a new one. I'll use this as the backup. Well, I got one from Tractor Supply, and I'm like, this is like garbage. Like, they're not equivalent at all. No. Versus if you go to buy them at a real Husqvarna dealer.
I think it's just like with anything, really. Mower and string trimmer. You got to buy them commercial ones.
They're just built different.
I just have an Echo chainsaw. I got like 5 years ago.
I'll have to show you my 251. I call it the old man saw. I actually had a neighbor who had. It wasn't a 251. It was a bigger saw, but it's basically an easy start. Like, it's a total old man feature. So it's got some sort of spring on the pull cord, and so you don't just yank on it like you do any other pull start engine.
Right.
You just tug on the string, and when you get to a certain point, it just goes brrr and tries to turn over. And so then you let go, and you can actually just take it and just do little pulls like this. If I suppose if you got weak wrists or something, or not a very strong grip, you can just sit there and kind of short little pulls, and the thing just fires up. I showed my dad when they were out here visiting. I was like, here, pull on this. Don't yank it. Just pull the cord out. And he pulls it out, and it gets to a point and it just goes brrr, and tries to fire up. And he's like, what the heck is up with this saw? I was like, yeah, this is my old man saw. So kind of a cool feature. I'll have to show you, Jason. I saw that feature. I was like, how did you just start that saw without yanking on the cord? And the guy, he laughed. He's like, oh, it's an easy start. Check this out. And he handed it to me. He's like, don't yank on it. Just pull it nice and gentle. And you just pull, and the thing fires right up. And it's like, oh, that's cool. So
that's nice.
I took notes, and that was a feature I bought with my 251. I mean, I think it added like $150 to the price, but so worth it. Anybody can start that chainsaw.
Like stuff like that, you just don't know even exists.
I'd never heard of anything like that.
Like if you're not part of that, I don't know, that world. Like, yeah, you don't know like these things are there. You just think, oh, I'm just gonna go to Lowe's and buy a chainsaw. Yep. That's why I wish I would have took some kind of chainsaw course or something. forestry course or something like that.
I can tell you what, I've never used a chainsaw so much in my life until we moved to North Carolina, and I have never used a chainsaw as much as I have in the past month. Like my hands are permanently stuck, like in handle holding position right now. It's like wake up in the morning and I'm laying there holding a chainsaw in my dreams.
Or, yeah, your workout.
That's what you tell Meg when you're snoring in the middle of the night. Oh, I was just dreaming about running the chainsaw all night long.
I'm just sawing logs. I'm not snoring. I'm sawing logs.
Right.
Well, all right. I think we'll leave it at there, guys. We're over an hour here, so. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Thank you guys for watching. And hopefully everyone has an awesome week, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for hanging out. Bye.
See you guys later.
Later, everybody.